Hello, my name is Ashley Butler. I am 31 years old and I am from Broken Bow, Oklahoma. So as a child, my life was pretty hard in the beginning. When I was 9 years old, my dad was murdered in I guess what you would call like a drug deal. And kind of after that, my mom was in and out of jail, and I lived with friends or I lived with family, kind of wherever I could be when my mom was gone. It's kind of rough because when you have parents who are drug addicts, the world or the community expects you to be the same way. They don't want their kids to associate with you. They don't want their kids to invite you over to be at their house. So it was really hard. A lot of people expected me to be somebody else. They just expected me to follow the status quo. And kind of after all of that happened, I would always wonder, where's God? Why would God let some innocent little child have to go through this? No mom, dad's gone, living with friends, living with family. And then I just woke up one day and thought, you know what? I'm not going to be a status quo. I'm not going to be what everybody thinks that I'm going to be. So I worked really, really hard in school. I made straight A's. I worked 3 jobs in high school to make sure that I could pay for everything that I needed, paid for my own clothes, paid for my own car, all of those things. I took college classes while I was in high school just to kind of get a head start on everything I could do, and felt like I had everything in line. I met my husband, who I've been married to now for a little over 11 years, when I was 14 years old. We've kind of been dating ever since, and that was fun. I was a teenager. I didn't grow up in church at all. Actually, I've probably only been doing the church thing for about 10 years now. So we did what teenagers do, went out and probably got into a little bit of trouble that we shouldn't have gotten into. However, I still maintained my 4.0 GPA. I graduated in the top 10% of my class, and left high school to go to college and felt pretty accomplished. I'd kind of done that all on my own. And I did college for about a semester, and to be such a good student, college just wasn't for me. So I moved home and I got married and kind of did the wife thing for a little while. And again, I felt successful. I felt, I had a good job. I was being paid well. I had friends that were getting out of college who weren't even making as much money as I was making with no degree. But still kind of something was missing. I felt like I was successful and I had done all of this on my own, and it was great, and I wasn't the person everybody expected me to turn out to be. But something was still missing. I was unhappy. I was miserable. I was doing things I shouldn't do. I was having conflict at home in my marriage, conflict with my friends, and just conflict at work. And there come a point where I just woke up one day and I was like, I'm going to church today. That's what I'm going to do. So my husband started to attend church. We attended a little church outside of town. And that's where I really began to realize that, God didn't leave me as an innocent child, that maybe that was the story I had to have to be in this moment where I am now. We kind of attended that church for a little while until our son was born, and kind of got out of it because, sometimes we step out of the boat and we shouldn't. Started going down some bad roads again. My excuse was my husband wouldn't go to church with me on Sunday, and it was the only day that we had to spend together, so I wanted to spend that day with him. And when you're not being fed spiritually, it's kind of hard to stay on the right path. When Cash was 2, my brother kind of followed the path everybody expected me to follow. He was in drugs. He was an alcoholic. He was an absent father. He wasn't there for his kids. And my mom called me one day and my brother had hung himself. That was a really, really hard time for me. That was another big turning point in my life that I I didn't know where to go. Here I am now. My dad's gone. My mom has no children left. I'm the only one. That's a lot of pressure on a person. And then now I have a 2-year-old that I have to raise as well. We need to figure out, I need to figure out how I'm going to do this. So I started attending First Assembly of God, and Pastor Terry and Sister Kim and everybody have always made me feel so welcome, and I feel like I've really found my place here in this church. God has just turned my life around. I'm a happier person. I know that the struggles that I went through as a child were for these moments right here. I'm not mad at God anymore. It's not his fault that I had such a hard upbringing. And things just continue to get better. I'm at a great job. I changed jobs. I manage an office. I'm successful with God by my side. When I pray and ask God to help me get through a situation, he's there. And I'm at peace when things don't go my way, and that's okay. Hi, my name is Ashley Butler, and I am second.